Hello, everyone. It's finally time for more Soul Reaver 2. And by the way, everyone, this game is 23 years old.
Oh
boy.
I'm so old.
I don't like how time works.
Crystal Dynamics. It says here, I'm gonna change the scene. Crystal Dynamics 2001.
Good gravy.
Yeah, so if you're all ready, let's begin. I did adjust the stream audio, not the stream audio, the stream visuals. It's gonna look a lot brighter to everyone watching on Twitch and on Discord in comparison to what I'm seeing on my TV. So if it seems like I'm being a little silly, that's why. So if you all are ready, let's begin.
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
Eternity is relentless.
No, it was funsies.
Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? And as such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Kain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer.
A lot more
Who better to
ragdolling in this.
serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are open, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my
It's weird that he
unwilling
squooshed
corpse.
purity and corruption together.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours.
I like that the portal opens like Stargate, but it just kind of yawns. It's like a lazy Stargate.
Speaking of things being old, Stargate came out. The original movie was 30 years ago.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters twice because I loved it so much.
Yeah, I saw it with my dad. Good lord, that means I was 7 when I saw that. My dad really did take me to a lot of movies. Go.
Into the garbage chute, flyboy.
Seriously though, my dad took me to movies that were sometimes not the most age appropriate in retrospect.
Raziel, Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah, welcome. time span, soul. Welcome to your destiny.
Easy.
Destiny. Do it.
Steal that potato.
I'm going to turn down the video a little bit. Turn down the audio for the game a little bit as it loads.
Where am I? Is the usual question.
I like
In
his
your
Necron
case,
staff.
when might be more apt.
Hey, you sucked his suck.
Snake. If you'd prefer I use my bare hands.
This is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent facade, Mobius. I know who and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Mobius?
My role as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel.
I would imagine,
No,
yeah.
don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Kain, some 30 years from now.
You two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Death comes for us all, Raziel. It's just a matter of time.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well.
Let's see, what part of omniscience didn't you understand, Chief?
How cruelly Kain has used you. I knew you when you were one of the Sarafan Brotherhood, Raziel. We were even close.
Oh, please.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Sarafan have long since passed, I'm afraid. This is a more cynical and indecorous age. My mercenary army now inhabits this stronghold. We strive to honor the memory of the Sarafan with our own humble crusade.
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge of the Circle, the most depraved and decadent example of his whole degenerate race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow Guardians as they cowered defenseless in this room.
Yeah, we saw that.
And you
Yeah.
somehow survived this massacre?
I and 2 others. The Circle was devastated.
I did
Only
a bit
we
of a
3 were
sneaky.
spared.
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I don't naively devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me, sir? Your malefactor, Kain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. We both want Kain dead. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man. I know all about your sordid little schemes, but you're simply out of your depth on this one.
Sort of.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let me show you.
Delicious PS2 animation.
Even now,
I like
Kain
it.
is lying in wait for you, unaware that I've snatched you out of the time stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very pillars
Oh,
he is
okay.
destined to destroy.
So he wasn't luring
That he has
Raziel to meet
eluded
Mobius.
your
Mobius
grasp.
intervened.
Yes.
The pillars are still standing in this time.
Yes, Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We who serve the pillars maintain their delicate balance, and Kain is destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns. I believe you have already endured the wasteland wrought by his terrible, selfish decision. Kain's very existence is a cancer upon this world, As long as he lives, all of Nosgoth is in peril.
Kain, sir, if you will.
may never again be human, Raziel. But you can re-embrace the essence of your humanity and the nobility of your Sarafan heritage. Go to him, Raziel, and end this. But first, you will need to find your way out of the stronghold, and in this, I'm afraid I cannot help you. My soldiers will not understand your appearance here. They will try to kill you. You needn't fear them, of course.
Snake is trying so hard to eat the orb, and it's just not happening.
Try to keep the casualties to a minimum. But do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
It's not necessarily
Alone,
the most altruistic
I
beginning.
surveyed my surroundings
Yeah.
and noticed a second time streaming chamber. Its entrance identical to the first, but with one distinction. That crystal was significant, but how? I had not yet discovered.
Oh, by the way, you know the glowing effect from Mobius's staff? In the Steam version, it was all squares.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Whoops.
This feels so much better on the original, on the PS2.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that was a solid port. Unfortunate, there's so many places where PC is kind of an afterthought port-wise, which you would think, if anything, it would, like, that would open up an opportunity to enhance your product, but instead of just getting it down quick.
Oh, by the way, these are all humans we're fighting, so killing them will be a lot easier than vampires.
So you don't have to yeet them into water or onto spikes and stuff. Right, the big swords. Oh, he don't got ahead no more.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you're in a Mortal Kombat, these guys. Raziel wins. Fatality. Raziel would be a
call it a-
kick-ass.
would you call it a-
Death character?
Would you call it a fatality if its death happens at the end of every single fight?
Yes. I mean, well, okay. Technically, it depends on how good you are at getting the code in. And
Okay, then I'll just go ahead and do this. Your soul is mine.
I love that they actually used him as the character model for Shang Tsung in the latest Mortal Kombat,
The
and he was the VA.
For Mortal Kombat for Aftermath, yeah.
Yeah, that they actually went back and they're like, hey, you know, you were really popular in the movies. We think you're the kind of what most people think of as Shang Tsung. You should come be Shang Tsung again.
Yeah, it's great.
I like that actor anyway. He's really good. He was in The Man in the High Castle. He was really good in.
Oh, right, I need to watch the rest of that sometime. I saw the first few episodes, and I loved the book.
Yeah, it's pretty faithful to the book, if I recall.
Cutscene.
Yay!
Yeah, and I always love River
Throughout
Saw.
the stronghold, I discovered evidence of my former nobility and my life as a Sarafan priest. This was the heritage so foully stolen from me when Kain raided my sacred crypt and defiled me.
Hey, if I'm supposed to, why did you stick it in my chest if I'm supposed to taste it? Well, I'm glad this will elaborate on some stuff, because I admit I had a lot of questions after the ending
Yeah.
of the last one.
Hey, I'm not a vampire. I'm a wraith. There's a difference.
Yeah, souls are far tastier than blood. It's just science. Don't tell the Blood Angels I said that. I'm gonna catch holy hell.
Oh, right.
Something about the duality of the Blood Angels I still love is that Sanguinius was the dude who could, like, be soft-spoken and, like, gentle and noble, but also, like, break a greater demon's back over his knee when he was teed off. I kind of like that.
You notice how the
duality in
souls here
characters.
look different? They
Yeah.
skulls.
Ooh.
I want to take a look around here real quick before I head back to the physical plane.
I was really sad I missed the final stream of Soul Reaver 1 because I wanted to end the entire stream with
It was foretold by gyromancy.
You're kind of not wrong there.
I do like the distortion of the spirit world shift. It's very Tim Burton-y.
Away from the influence of Mobius's cursed staff, I could feel the strength of the Soul Reaver slowly returning. If that orb was as debilitating to vampires as it was to the blade, it gave Mobius a powerful advantage over his enemies. I finally understood how Mobius's crusade could decimate the vampires so successfully. If he could immobilize his enemies, they were at his mercy. But why, I wondered, would the staff have any effect on the Reaver?
Thus, I wandered, and would continue to ponder the orb. So does the Soul Reaver still only come out when you're at full health?
Yep.
Okay.
And
so when you get bonked, you still... The combat seems a little more responsive, like the dodging and stuff seems way more snappy.
yeah.
As I neared the stronghold's inner sanctum, a strange sensation crept over me. An indescribable feeling of displacement, a sense of vertigo, as reality itself appeared to warp and bend around me. The disturbance seemed to emanate from the sanctuary's furthest chapel.
It was like I was in college once more.
The sense of dislocation intensified with each step. So this was the tomb of the beloved King William the Just, beatified here as the martyr and catalyst of Mobius's crusade. I was reminded of Kain's journey as a fledgling vampire, how Mobius coerced him to travel back in history and assassinate William, thus igniting a genocidal hatred of vampires among the citizens of Nosgoth. And here I discovered the source of the displacement. The Soul Reaver itself, laid out like a holy relic, and broken, apparently in the battle between William and Kain. I had not thought such a thing was possible, until, of course, Kain shattered the blade against me when he tried to strike me down. Thus,
And
the
then his
captive
journey was
spirit
complete.
inhabiting the Reaver was released, and binding itself to me became my symbiotic weapon. And so the Reaver met its former self, still imprisoned in this corporeal shell.
My
I
controller's
watched,
vibrating right now.
mesmerized, as the Wraith blade uncoiled itself and snaked down the length of the physical blade. Embracing its twin, its mirror self, the Reaver's long dormant spirit was now fully aroused. And for the first time, I felt the true presence of this other entity. Willful, ravenous, and deranged from thousands of years of imprisonment. The Reaver was now in command.
Uh-oh.
And I...
It's
now
angry and
merely
deranged and
helpless
aroused. That
host,
sword is in for a time.
felt my soul being leached to restore the blade. But the Reaver knew better than to destroy its host. And just as I neared the brink of oblivion, the blade released its hold on me. As I recovered, I realized we were now bound together in a fragile alliance. The Reaver no longer merely my symbiotic weapon, but a sentient parasite competing for control.
What have you done to me, Mobius? Is this your trap?
How mine? Don't forget it was Kain who led you here, not I. While you
Yes, but-
curse me, the only soul in Nosgoth ready to guide and assist you, Kain laughs at our folly and revels in your dismay.
These blades, now coiled in sinister embrace, have inspired terror in the hearts of creatures far more durable than you, old man. Bound together as they are, I can only imagine what they could do to your soul's fragile shell.
Raziel, I beg you to stay your hand. This was none of my doing. I have sought only to aid you in your righteous quest.
Why, you're trembling, Mobius. Has your confidence abandoned you?
Yeah, what happened to that
You seem to
omniscience?
have made a fatal error by leaving your precious staff behind. Is that where all your courage comes from?
Listen to me, Raziel. You don't know what you're doing. I have taken an enormous risk by appearing here before you, so defenseless, yet eager to prove my good intentions. If there's anything left of the Seraphim in you, you won't do this. While you threaten me, your true enemy eludes you.
Don't concern yourself with Kain, old man. He'll join you in hell soon enough. As you said, death comes for us all.
Yes, the wheel of fate demands it.
What did you say?
The wheel of fate. The inexorable cycle of death and rebirth to which all men are compelled. We serve the same God, Raziel. To strike me down would be striking God's own attendant. And I don't believe even you would take that risk.
That's a bold
Tired of your games, Mobius.
position to claim.
Now that I know you fear me, I needn't concern myself with you. Kain is waiting for me.
Go then, Raziel. Seek Kain out and destroy him in the name of the one God we both serve. You, who were once a Seraphim priest, murdered, profaned, destroyed, and reborn again from his mercy, you are now most powerfully equipped to be his agent, his instrument of restoration and retribution.
My own vengeance is motivation enough.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he's being forthright here.
By my soul, you almost had me, my little blue assassin. But that'll be the one and only chance you get. I assure you of that.
I could now summon the blade at will, regardless of my strength. But once summoned, the blade's ravenous appetite could not be contained. It devoured the souls of its victims, and if I allowed it to become over-aroused, the Reaver would now turn its hunger on me.
So it'll hurt you if it's out too long and you don't give it stuff to nom on?
No, if it absorbs too many souls, it will start draining. It'll start draining your health.
Oh.
And you notice how my health decreased there
Yeah.
from the maximum amount of health that you gained from Soul Reaver 1 down to starting level again. Oh, and by the way, funny thing about that sequence. Yeah. Mobius was not kidding about that being
So
the only
this
chance
was
you
the
get.
legendary Janos Ordre,
Oh, yeah?
reputed to have been the most ancient and diabolical vampire to have ever existed. According to folklore, he lived high in the cliffs of Nosgoth's northern mountains and preyed mercilessly on the defenseless villagers below. His reign of terror ended when the Sarafan finally hunted him down and tore his throbbing heart from his still-living body. This relic came to be known as the Heart of Darkness, and was supposedly imbued with the power to restore vampiric
That
unlife.
Heart of Darkness.
The Sarafan therefore guarded
Yeah.
it carefully, lest the heart fall into the hands of their enemies. But I wondered, could Janos Ordren truly have been as monstrous as depicted here? Or was this merely artistic license by the Sarafan, who sought to lionize themselves by demonizing their darkest enemy?
This is the most morally gray story I think I've ever seen in quite a while.
Yep.
Holy moly.
Yep. Very much so, yes.
Long time. So yeah, these good guys, were they good, or were they just or were they also just did they just suck in a slightly different way?
So in
They
Yeah, you
could've
see
just-
that-
Got that bar around your health now.
Yeah.
That's like a overcharge thing.
if it maxes out, it starts draining your health.
I see.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful of how much you feed it.
Yeah, it's like a quick kill to enemies. It does a lot of damage, but you gotta be careful about how much you use it.
Strange how my history came full circle. This chapel, I realized, was a memorial to my former Sarafan brethren and myself. All of us martyred here, and then so cruelly profaned by Kain when he imposed his gift on our noble corpses. For the first time, I beheld the image of my Sarafan self, memorialized here among my fallen comrades.
Oh, I was hot, wasn't I?
Tortured me to see how
Oh,
noble and
what-
pure I had been, and what a vile phantasm I had become. And a profound
I had such a
sense of
cool hat,
injury,
too.
of loss and betrayal welled up in me, so overwhelming I could barely contain it. All I wanted at this moment was to find Kain and destroy him.
After watching this and just loving the cadence of his name, I'm tempted to create a Dark Angels character named Raziel,
Yeah.
or for my Disciples of Caliban army. Might make him my company master. And I gotta give him a big ass sword, of course.
There we go.
I know he won't get into soul sucking unless he's hanging out with the blood angels he works with on occasion. Like sometimes you just gotta suck a soul, and Dante's like, "It is so, brother. It is so. That is how it be."
I have the odd feeling I think I might be going backwards.
Yeah, that happens sometimes around here.
Oh, you're learning my navigation skills. I'm passing on the worst lessons ever.
There we go. Even with the brightness turned up, it's still dark in here.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm also trying to remember if I can find any health power-ups. Well, I think the health power-ups come with the energy, the different elemental reavers.
If I hadn't been so sick this week, I actually even had some ideas for some previously on slides for doing Soul Reaver 1. Sorry that didn't get done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that you're feeling better.
Yeah.
I emerged.
Yeah, me too. That was a
And for the first
incredibly
time,
bad 3
beheld
days.
Nosgoth
Here we
in
go.
its former glory. The land overflowed with abundant life and vitality. And I knew with certainty then that the world I had left behind was nothing more than the corpse of Nosgoth, a lifeless husk bled dry by the corruption of Kain's parasitic empire. This was the fragile world Kain sacrificed to preserve his own petty life and ambition, heedless of the profound cost. The sight only deepened my resolve. I sensed that the pillars lay to the northwest, and if Kain truly waited to confront me there, I would not disappoint him.
It was so much it was so beautiful to see the azure waves tumbling down the rock face instead of the accursed soul toilet he had cast me down.
Yeah. Swimming is going to suck
Oh?
because it is pitch black on my screen and there's nothing I can do about it.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Soul Toilet sounds like a death metal band.
It's my Metallica cover. It's the name of my Metallica cover band.
Now it has to be Megadeth cover band for Tornado of Souls.
Ah.
I haven't listened to Megadeth in a while. I used to have a friend who was way into them.
Very good results here.
Great music,
As I passed this
often
arcane
laughable
landmark,
singing.
Yeah.
A wisp of the
Yeah.
Reaver's energy was drawn to the ring, illuminating it. This created a beacon of sorts in the spirit world. If ever I found myself depleted in the spectral realm, and my soul tossed on the ethereal winds, these beacons would draw me back to safety and restore me.
See,
Checkpoints, instead of taking you back to the Elder Gods chamber.
That's nice. That's nice. That was actually one of the previously on slides I was going to do. Is I was going to have him being like fighting and then getting ganked and then appearing in the spirit woman and being like, "Son of a bitch, not again!" Yes, I gotta go eat some fools.
I did not yet possess the means to unlock this barrier, but this enigmatic symbol was clearly the key.
I like the ambient tones for the soundtrack in this one and the last one. That it's just kind of a. It reminds me of do you know the composer Mark Snow?
No, I do not.
He did all the music for like the X-Files and a few other TV shows.
Right.
He was really famous for having like a lot of just really kind of subtle, just gentle beats in the background rather than like anything hugely like set piecey, and it would really ramp up the tension when used well. You know, just that kind of
These
hard to
ancient
explain.
obelisks were mysteriously attuned to my spiritual essence. By simply touching the symbol, I could safely preserve an imprint of my soul, and thus create a milestone to which I could return when weary, and from which I could resume my journey.
Diegetic save points.
Yep.
But yeah, this reminds me a lot of Mark Snow's.
While I had only just escaped the stronghold, I sensed that in time my journey would return me full circle to this place. Infiltrating the fortress, however, would be no small feat. The balcony that had provided my escape was now well beyond my reach, leaving this massive gateway as the only means of entry. The gates were sealed, but like the time-streaming chamber I had seen earlier, their operation was undoubtedly linked to that odd crystal mounted above the entrance.
I saw another... Work with me, please. Trying to see where...
It's illegal advertising, so I got a targeted ad with a for a sweatshirt that says my immune system got run over by a reindeer.
No. Oh no. Yeah, not only that feels super targeted. I feel sorry for you, kid.
Yeah, that was a that was a low blow.
To arms!
Give me your soul. I need that right now.
Just like kick in the door like the Kool-Aid man. I need your soul. No questions.
Yep, this dude has a gun. Give me that good shit.
I didn't know anybody in this had guns.
Basically, like, think of them as like mini cannonball, mini cannons.
Oh, it's like musket type technology.
Yeah, musket, arquebus kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But now I'm at full health. I don't need to worry about them.
That's one of my favorite words of the time, arquebus. I don't know who thought that up, but good on you, mate.
I thought there might have been something underneath the bridge. Because I have to keep an eye out for possible areas I can get, like, bonus health and stuff. Ah. I know that was hard to see, but yes, they do have hunting dogs.
Send in the anti-vampire hounds. Eddie, are you a wraith hunting dog? Is that why you sometimes bark at the corner for no damn reason?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what this is. I think this is a thing for later.
Over there!
Oh, there it goes.
Ow.
Oh, he shooted at you.
I'll bust your
gun-
blunderbuss any day.
They remind me of dwarf thunderers from Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
That was
the Empire troops.
That was that was actually the first fantasy model I think I ever painted, was a dwarf thunderer was a unit of dwarf thunderers for a friend.
Nice.
I did good chainmail. I have no idea how I did that because I've never been that good at metallics like ever again.
Dash.
Oh, what a dick! He Mufasa and scarred you. Brother, help me! Long live the king! Thonks an arrow into your forehead. I've been wanting to paint my Grey Knights next once I actually, if I actually have the supplies to
Come on.
paint again. I've seen a really cool way to do Grey Knights where you use like a Vallejo silver and then you do like a light blue wash to give it kind of that like purity, that steel that's...
These vampires had nothing in common
that'd
with the
be cool.
deranged jackals I left behind in Kain's derelict empire. They seemed to retain much of their former humanity. In this era, vampires were clearly not the uncontested predators we had been. These creatures were hunted mercilessly and oppressed. And while I still believed that vampirism was a plague and had to be wiped out, there was nothing noble or righteous in this crusade. This was simply ruthless persecution.
Trying to see if there's anything over there.
Eddie, you're stinky. Why are you stinky? I gave you... You had a bath not that long ago, didn't you?
You mean a week ago?
I guess actually probably closer to 2 weeks due to the groomer. Maybe... I don't know. How does time work, Teddy? This is your job. You're in charge of time, aren't you? And they remaster Teddy stars as Mobius.
Hey Kit.
Yeah.
You're ready for one of the best scenes in gaming?
I am ready.
The pillars of Nosgoth, pristine, whole, and uncorrupted. I had never beheld them in this undefiled state, yet something profound and indelible resonated within me at the sight. And there, waiting at the very heart of the pillars, was the canker that was destined to destroy them.
I know you're there, Raziel.
Mobius led me to you, Kain, though I might have guessed you'd meet me here.
And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me?
But yeah, of course.
Mobius trawls for the ignorant and unwary, hauling his gasping prey from the streams of their destinies. Stay out of his net, Raziel.
Spare me your elaborate metaphors, Kain. I have pursued you here for one purpose. You will pay for your betrayal, and balance will thus be restored to Nosgoth.
And whose will is satisfied then? The will of Raziel or Mobius?
Would I be better manipulated by you, Kain? Now, turn and face me. The chase is over.
This isn't a chase, Raziel. We are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason. I've seen the beginning and the end of our story, however, and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending of it. You and I.
Face me, Kain. Even you shouldn't die a coward's death.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request?
I recall no such courtesy from you.
Indulge me, Raziel. All I ask is that you listen. This is the sublime moment of our undoing, Raziel. The ineffable fulcrum upon which swings the entirety of our history. This is where all of Nosgoth is betrayed. In this instant, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, is murdered by dark forces bent on overthrowing the pillars. Her spirit is just now tearing free, lost in the ether, trying to find its way here. You have already seen how she comes to haunt these pillars.
Bound here by your refusal to die. You are the reason this land becomes diseased. As long as you remain alive, you condemn Nosgoth to an eternity of decay.
Be still, Raziel. See this. As Ariel dies, I am being born to take her place as Balance Guardian. Such is my destiny.
Whoa.
My God.
At the moment of my first cry, Ariel's beloved, the Guardian Nutraptor, finds her corpse. Racked with grief and tormented by suspicions of treachery, Nutraptor plunges into a madness which overflows and infects all of the Guardians who are symbiotically bound, including me. The repercussions of Ariel's assassination were expertly calculated. The entire circle descends into madness, and I am tainted at the moment of my birth, instantly rendered incapable of fulfilling the role destiny has prepared for me.
Shall I show you the same mercy you showed the rest of
Interesting.
the circle then? You blithely murdered them to restore their pillars, yet your hand faltered when it came to the final sacrifice. What makes you exempt, Kain? You're merely the last man standing. Why condemn me for simply carrying out what you hadn't the courage to do yourself?
Let's drop the moral posturing, shall we? We both know there's no altruism in this pursuit. Your reckless indignation led you here. I counted on it. There's no shame in it, Raziel. Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly.
Well, that's where that comes from.
30 years hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a two-sided coin. If the coin falls one way, I sacrifice myself and thus restore the pillars. But as the last surviving vampire in Nosgoth, this would mean the annihilation of our species. Mobius made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse, I refuse the sacrifice and thus doom the pillars to an eternity of collapse. Either way, the game is rigged.
We agree then that the pillars are crucial and must be restored.
Yes, Raziel. And that's why we've come full circle to this place.
So after all this, you make my case for me.
To end this stalemate, you must die so that new Guardians can be born.
Pillars don't belong to them, Raziel. They belong to us.
Your arrogance is boundless, Kain.
There's a third option. A monumental secret, hidden in your very presence here. But it's a secret you have to discover for yourself. Unearth your destiny, Raziel. It's all laid out for you here.
You said it yourself, Kain. There are only two sides to your coin.
Apparently so. But suppose you throw a coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge.
Interesting. Very interesting. Holy cow.
I didn't know what impulse stayed my hand, why I had so willingly allowed Kain to escape me when I had pursued him for so long. I had no reason to trust Kain after he had valued me so little, and yet I found myself intrigued by his words. I had been too cruelly used to so gullibly play his pawn, but if this world truly had secrets to divulge, I was determined to expose them.
It makes me wonder if, like, if what Kane's getting at is, like, the whole idea of, like, the only way to win is to not play. Kind of logic. He's certainly not just the blanket tyrant that he was kind of made out to be in the beginning of the last game, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. Because it seems like you don't have to answer this because it would be spoilers probably, but it just feels like there's very much an overarching manipulation going on that
Oh yeah.
that we haven't even scratched the surface of yet.
And what complicates it more is this is a setting with both foresight, predestination, prophecy, or that kind of thing, and the time travel, which adds an extra wrinkle.
Oh, geez, yeah, that's a lot to try and account for.
Ah, we now meet Soul Reaver's 2 versions of Chihuahuas.
You show that, Chihuahua.
Get in my belly.
Yo quiero Taco Bell, bitch. Ooh, they're all gooey.
From the moment of my arrival, I had the constant and palpable sensation of being watched. Someone, it seemed, was keenly interested in my presence here.
If you need to run use the restroom, is this a decent time to zip off, or is there important stuff coming?
I think there might be stuff coming up soon.
Okay, I can wait a sec.
I'm just gonna see how far it goes. Okay, yeah, it's right here.
From the look of it, this door had been sealed for centuries. I began to realize it was no mere coincidence that I found myself standing here, beneath this winged figure with blue skin and cloven hands so like my own, and bearing this unique key. And so it was with a sense of gravity and trepidation that I unsealed that ancient door and crossed the threshold.
Yep.
It was like this ancient mural of myself. Someone had commissioned most hastily. Hundreds of years the world was misled. My nose was most certainly not that big.
But yeah, I think that you can enter the restroom.
Alright, I will be right back.
Look at the dude needs shoes and a short. Hey Dan, see you in the chat.
Hello.
Okay. I said Jordan was gonna do a recent ring in my ears and I'm trying. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Aw.
I don't mind.
You feel better soon.
Hope you feel better soon. I'm actually gonna quickly use the bathroom because there's another cutscene after this. In the meantime, here's some haunted pirate ship music. I'll be right back while I quickly use the bathroom.
Yep, see ya.
I have returned.
Welcome back. Dan's in chat and he's just said Kit is a stimkey.
I beg your pardon.
Hey, I'm back.
Welcome back.
After I was done using the bathroom, I grabbed a couple of bottles of Waterloo strawberry sparkling water.
Ooh. See, would someone who drinks something so fancy hang out with someone stinky? Huh? Eh?
At least it isn't LaCroix. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get back to it then.
Here, did you see I added emotes? I'm gonna bonk Dan. Finally started adding some emotes to my thing.
As I entered the chamber, I sensed that it had been sealed for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And while this room was clearly built when the pillars were erected, I knew that no human hand could have shaped this place, and that perhaps it had never been seen by human eyes. The surrounding murals depicted a winged race, their features so like my own, but beautiful, where mine were grotesque and angelic.
Oh, don't be hard on yourself, Raziel.
I tried to decipher these images. A great war, but with combatants like none I had ever seen. The pillars, raised by this winged race, who thus defeated their adversaries. The winged beings again, writhing in agony, apparently afflicted with the same bloodthirst I had so recently suffered. And throughout the chamber, inscribed everywhere, images of the Reaver itself. Was this what Kain had urged me to discover? I wondered.
Lies, Raziel.
Ah, he's back.
Hey, I was gonna say, it's been a while since we heard from him.
Do not be deceived.
Ah, my ancient benefactor. And I dared to hope we had parted ways forever. Silence was refreshing, but it lasted. No doubt you have a conveniently inexpressible reason for your presence here.
Do not be insolent, Raziel. I am eternally present here and everywhere, now and always. I am the still center of the turning wheel, the hub of this world's destiny.
It's your fault.
But perhaps not so omnipotent as you'd have me believe. Your hold on me appears to be tenuous. I no longer seem to need you. Yet I'm guessing you still need me.
This impudence is unworthy of you, Raziel. Do not forget that you have a task to fulfill here. You are indebted to me.
Indebted? You would have me show gratitude for a gift I didn't ask to be bestowed. Do you forget that you forced me to inhabit this vile carcass?
I restored you to yourself, Raziel. It was Kain who destroyed you. The very enemy you've just let slip through your grasp. Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Kain, and not your lackey Mobius.
Mobius is my good servant. I have many.
And if I tell
Wait a
Mobius
minute, does that mean
he's
you're the god he was
worshipping
mentioning?
A giant squid.
Yep.
Do you think his faith will falter?
You have grown willful, Raziel. But beware. To embrace a serpent is to invite poison into your heart. Kain is a sinuous beast. He will seduce and deceive you. You pride yourself on your free will, yet you let that degenerate deter your resolve.
I harbor no illusions about his integrity, nor anyone else's. In fact, I am beset by manipulation on all sides. Merely seek the truth.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth. This is the wheel of fate, the purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses.
but the wheel must turn. Death is inexorable and cannot be denied. Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my soul reaver, the scourge of the vampires, reaper of their apostate souls. Remain steadfast.
So he fashioned you into a weapon.
Parasitic curse and restore Nosgoth. Kain's blood belongs on your hands.
Kain indeed deserves to die for condemning me to this repugnant fall. But if and when I kill him, it will be for me alone to decide.
Kain destroyed you without a flicker of remorse. He tore the soul from your noble corpse. And after you had served him faithfully for 1,000 years, he discarded you in the abyss on a jealous whim. Remember your rage, Raziel. Let it guide your hand.
Hate has made you powerful. Blew a rocket Raz's belly and it imploded into his spine. That sounds like a rough day. Raziel's had it rough, you know?
Yeah. There are times where one can wish could just swim down all the way to the other god's eyes and just stab him. I keep forgetting it's the R2 button.
I think Kain's a renegade Mortal Kombat character because it's like Kain enabled, but it starts with a K. My theory. That's my theory of what's going on. That's the real secret of the world. This is a Mortal Kombat tie-in.
Well, to be fair, they have appeared in other games. In a Lara Croft game.
Yeah. I think it was Angel of Darkness. For New Game Plus, you can get the Reaver.
It's Legend of. It's also Legend of Osiris.
Ah, right.
Where you can play as Kain and Raziel.
Well, he's got them big clawed stompers. I don't know. It doesn't wear shoes. Some people like having their pads on the ground, okay?
Oh, what the fuck did Kain do to his feet? Oh, they all had, when they evolved over time, they all have cloven hands and feet.
So there were angelic beings, kind of like him, like anti-wraiths, maybe? Maybe not soul reavers, but soul weavers, no? Yeah.
Yeah, all the abilities that you get for the previous Soul Reaver games are accessible.
Yeah, one of the rare games where it doesn't just strip everything at the beginning of the second.
Yeah, I still remember when I was playing Metroid Prime for the first time and Ridley knocks your ass into the wall and all your stuff just breaks. I'm like, that's all it takes? You didn't back this stuff up?
Yeah, it's very dumb.
I used to wonder about like Mega Man while he got rid of the power, but I realized that's actually kind of in line with the story, where like he would want to hope for peace, and like he wouldn't want to stay a weapon of war beyond what was necessary. Although you think after a while he'd be like, maybe I'll hold on to this just in case. He should at least have held on to Metal Blade. Should have at least
but
held on to
also
Metal Blade.
there's probably trauma involved in like, because it's not just like picking up a weapon; it's parts of dead robots.
That's true. It's like there's a song about Proto Man and confronting Mega Man in Mega Man 3 done by the Megas where he goes, killing your own won't make you human. And it's like, yeah, I guess he is kind of murking his own, huh? I know people are always like, oh, they can rebuild him or whatever, and I'm like, well, yeah, but like technically that's like Ship of Theseusing an actual like being that's on the same level as him.
Yeah.
Not necessarily fully self-aware, but Robot Masters were pretty close to autonomous. Just still had to follow laws of robotics and certain imperatives, but other than that. Although I think Mega Man is proof that machines have souls because he sucks them up and uses them against the other robots, so case closed. Homie Raz looked like he got cursed with the hands and feet from a Hopkinsville goblin alien. I love that alien. That's what they base Sableye on in Pokemon, you know? It's a fascinating story. Family of farmers basically were like terrorized by weird goblins for like an entire night and like were like firing their shotguns and like, so no one knows what really happened. But like this family was absolutely convinced that they had weird ass alien goblin things.
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered an ancient ruin, unmistakably one of Mobius' time-streaming chambers, but long ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I didn't currently possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
I think on the next Previously On, I'm going to draw Mobius the Time Streamer, where he's going to be like with a gaming headset, and he's going to be like, thanks for coming to the Time Stream, folks. We got a good one for you today. We got Mobius a joke saying, welcome to the end of the time stream at the beginning. we like to have a little bit of time humor around here.
Here we are.
What the?
So, my lurking observer was exposed. The creature vanished when he realized he was discovered, but I caught a glimpse of him, and his features were distinctive enough. This was the vampire Vorador, the monstrous assassin depicted in the Stronghold.
He looks different.
It's strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the Circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me, I would go to him.
Like, did Vorador always have little
First, I needed
squiggly
to find
antenna
some
things?
means of reaching that terrace.
Kinda.
He kind of did, but it was covered up by the fact that only other time that you saw him was on the PS1.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so they looked more like fins, kind of Black Lagoon creature stuff.
Oh, okay. That is kind of what I interpreted them as, so that makes sense. Hey, that's who I was trying to think of. I was trying to think his eyes reminded me of somebody. Dan's right. Raziel reminds me of Spawn. We were watching X-Men 97 the other day and we had Mr. Sinister on, and I'm like, wow, that was a time, the 90s, wasn't it?
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
And all of the Age of Apocalypse designs.
Yeah. I am as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you.
Yep.
And Sabanur. I'm gonna possibly stand in the minority here, but I actually liked the X-Men movie that they did for Apocalypse. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, there were bits of it that I thought were interesting for like an updated take on it, but other stuff just felt lazy.
It fell flat in a few areas, don't get me wrong. I'm not giving it like universal praise. I'm just saying I think overall I enjoyed it. Then again, this is why I'd be a bad movie reviewer, because like I tend to like I go really far out of my way to find redeeming things in the experience if it's not just like total misery.
You mean the first class remake of X-Men Apocalypse?
Yes. Although nothing was as bad as when X-Men decided to do Dark Phoenix. They really borked that one.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was so disappointing.
None of the
But
movies
then,
knew what to do with Phoenix, did
right
they?
at the end, they had that one scene where all those guys were jumping at her and she's just dusting them with a glance. That one little brief shining moment was everything I'd been hoping for, but then the rest of the movie was just so bad.
It was, yeah. No, but like that very much was Phoenix, where it's just like you're dealing with something that is just so beyond comprehension that can just waste
Yeah.
like eat suns and shit. Yeah, the live-action X-Men movies were exceptionally hit or miss. Usually miss.
Yeah, the first two were written by Solid Snake.
Fair enough. I didn't mind the I actually didn't mind them, but I thought the third one was pretty bad. But I thought the first class ones were really solid.
Here we are.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
I think Days of Future Past is still
There
the
appeared to be a
high to that one.
passage
Yeah.
here, leading northward into the mountains. The opening, however, was obstructed and too high for me to reach. Perhaps later I would find the means to bypass these obstacles.
Bruh, you got claws. Get climbing. You killed a spider thing. Why did you kill that horrible spider thing if you couldn't remember how to climb?
Gotta be the right kind of walls.
Ah. Spiders famous for only being able to climb up the convenient walls. I'm actually really enjoying X-Men 97, by the way.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been meaning to get around to it sometime.
They did an amazing job because they use like a 3D cell shading approach, but they replicate the original feel so well.
Nice.
Sorry, I have to configure this because this is.
It is pretty, even on the stream, it's kind of dark. So it must be really dark for you.
Yeah.
I still love, I don't know why, but it cracks me up, but the line where Gambit gets one of the Sentinels where they're like, "Did unforeign object detected and analyzed," and one of the Sentinels leans down. "It appears to be the Ace of Spades," before it explodes. I've always been kind of a Sentinel fan, even though they're doofy in their own way.
Yeah.
I loved
lurking
playing as the
friend
Sentinel in
was
Marvel vs.
nowhere to
Capcom.
be seen, but I found these ruins even more intriguing. I recognized these arcane symbols from the chamber beneath the pillars, and realized that this shrine, too, were sealed to all but the bearer of the Reaver.
Interesting. So the Reaver isn't just a weapon, it's like a key.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting.
Because we knew from the first game that it's some kind of incredibly ancient artifact that they don't know its origin.
Yeah, they just kind of touched on that it was been around, but they didn't really give you more than that. Did they plan it all from the beginning, or were they just layering it on incredibly effectively?
Yeah, the latter. Because
Oh,
the
okay.
first game was started by Silicon Knights, but they had trouble finishing and brought in Crystal Dynamics to bring everything together.
I see.
And then Amy Hennig and Crystal Dynamics took over from Soul Reaver onwards. And there was a lot of reworking throughout the series as they had to struggle with technology and stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. Because sometimes I think when you plan stories ahead of time too much, you sometimes lose something, but likewise, if it's too made up on the spot, you lose something, and this seems like a good balance. It's always interesting to learn the way people in the industry will structure stories.
I can't wait to play the remake of this where it actually has decent lighting.
Yeah, that'll be nice. I was looking at getting it myself, or at least asking for it for Christmas, given how tight my money is going to be. I did sign my lease, by the way.
Nice.
It's official.
Oh, nice.
Means I'm dead-ass broke, but, you know, I'm working on it. At least I got the essentials taken care of, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I saw something I meant to share with you, Tourmaline, and totally forgot. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah?
I think you'd get a kick out of it. Of course, I misplaced it. Hang on. Huh, why is that being so difficult? There we go. I found it. I'll put it in voice text. It's a video that I thought was really funny and very much in line with my experience with Australians. I thought you'd find it funny.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, just very. Someone's joke. So someone shared that the other day, and someone's like, "I'm just waiting for someone in Bluey to drop a hard C."
Turns into freaking just turns into A&H Club instantaneously.
Yeah.
Having Bluey yell the word bitch.
That was my favorite part of that comment. That was so funny because Allie just barely talked, but then like just kept saying it over and over, and Hildy's like, "Your mother's gonna kill me," and then like in the middle it's like 3 a.m. and leans over, whisper, "Bitch." Allie, it's 3 a.m. Go to sleep. It's funny though the way kids pick up on that. Like you won't think they're listening, but then like
Oh yeah.
they definitely will pick up on the uh, like I remember there's a video I loved years ago where it was this little tiny kid and they had a golf club and they said, "Show us how you golf," and he swings the the little club and hits the plastic golf ball, and they say, "Show us how Daddy golfs," and he throws the club down and goes, "Damn it!" Grizz was the same way. He would sometimes pay attention to things you weren't at all like prepared for. Like I think I probably told one of you this story, but when his dad and I were younger, we were playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original, and we were on the sniper mission. And Grizz is just this tiny little kid. He comes out in his feety pajamas to get water in the middle of the night, and he sits next to his dad who's playing, and he looks over at the TV and points at it and goes, "Daddy, shoot that one. He's still moving." We're both like, "Thank you." Kids are really surprising the things they pick up on. I like the dissolving particle effects when the corpses disappear. Pretty good for the time.
There we go. There we go.
Throughout this ancient shrine, murals depicted the winged race, and the apocalyptic war against their mysterious and equally inhuman adversaries. These winged beings, it seemed, were not only the architects of the pillars, but of this enigmatic place as well. And just as in the pillar's chamber, this shrine was adorned throughout with imagery of the Reaver, depicted with the reverence of a holy icon.
Uh-oh, we got us a Forerunner speed. We got us a Forerunner race. Forerunner alert. What's interesting, the Soul Reaver wasn't always like a tainted thing, it sounds like it was actually like a tool of purification or something.
Yeah.
Before it had gone insane with its centuries of confinement, it was a holy sword called Larry. Larry the Divine Pokestick. Larry was a just and good pokestick, whose abilities were turned to evil. You think souls have flavors?
Tastes like dandelion and burdock.
I wandered the ruins. Strife ran through my mind. The taste of garlic faint on my tongue. Yet I had no time for toothpaste.
You can't stop me. I'm gonna make it there eventually. Fuck you.
What only shoots me makes me angrier.
I am too angry to die. Just ask Buffa.
Riz is now a giant Punk Jack fan and hates you both for making it so. Dude, did his bones just, like, pop out of his...
Yeah, yeah, those are skeletons.
Oh, okay, that was hardcore. I guess it was next to the firelight that it really stood out. The screaming skull head.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, Bluey if they were Australian. But I thought they were Australian.
I think they're actually...
No, they are Australian.
I think that some of the characters are from New Zealand, but most are Australian. Like, I think Mackenzie's family is New Zealand. I think they're Kiwis. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand, and there's a lot I would want to see in Australia, but there's also a lot I'm absolutely petrified of in Australia.
If you've been to, like, the Texas, New Mexico kind of region, then you've dealt with as bad as anything gets here. Like, all we have are snake spiders, the occasional scorpion. And
It's
if
the-
you've been in, like, desert areas, it's got all that, and we don't have, like, mountain lions or anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, on paper, stuff closer to me is probably more dangerous than a lot of what you'd get there. But, like, I don't know, man, your spiders scare me. we get some fairly unpleasant ones here. We get some brown recluses and black widows. Although funnel webs, from what I understand, are really the ones you want to watch out for in Australia because they're angy. Like, I've heard reports where if people like spray them with pesticide, it just pisses them off and they charge.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily I'm way down south where it's too cold for them. They don't come down here.
Oh, that's good. Because they're more in like the Sydney area, right?
Yeah, Sydney and further north.
Yeah. Huntsmans, I know, are harmless, but good lord.
Yeah, they are pretty terrifying when you're not expecting them.
They're fast too. Oof. I think that's the thing is like, big is scary. Big and fast. That's where you get me, and I'm just like, nope. But yeah, Utah,
it's
we've
nice
got
to have one around though when you know it's there and it's just like sitting up in the top corner of a room. They do keep the mosquito population down.
Yeah, I'd imagine their utility is nice. That's why I try to, instead of killing spiders, I try to just escort them out. Because they are useful. In Utah, we've got a few nightmarish critters, though. I mean, and we're not totally immune to that. Vinegar runes in southern Utah, those are certainly a thing nature came up with.
I'm trying desperately to figure out how to get up there, but combination of me being rusty and this game being really dark makes it hard to see where I'm supposed to go. Like if I look if I look at my main screen, it's just pitch black, except for whenever there's fire.
Yeesh. Yeah, that would make things tricky. Is there any way to like change the color grading on your monitor or something?
On the stream screen, it's fine. I can see
Yeah.
it. It's just
I just mean on from what you're looking at.
no on my TV. No.
Oh, okay.
I think I would probably have to go back to a previous. I think the best choice I could probably do is use what I actually need to do is borrow my sister's capture card, because my sister's capture card is made for 480p component cables.
Oh, okay. That's cool. So you can use ye old direct hookup. I definitely need to get, at some point, a component to HDMI converter so I can use a lot of because I have a ton of old game systems. Although the really tricky one, I have no idea how I would even begin to do this, is someone gifted me a really good friend of mine, really cleaned up by auction. He got a... You ever do this? You ever heard of the thing where someone will they'll auction off storage lockers that people don't pay for?
Yeah, there's an entire
and you
show
can,
on A&E about that.
Yeah, he did that, and he found a Sega Genesis in really good condition and gifted it to me.
Oh, wow.
And he gifted me the first few Sonic games, and
Oh,
it's in
that's
really
awesome.
good shape. The problem is it uses a coax hookup, and I have no idea how I would get that on anything remotely modern.
Oof.
Like, I'd have to string together 3 adapters, if that. Be the most. It would be like it'd be really funny if I took the Sega Genesis 32X and a Sega CD and the Sonic 3 and Knuckles Tower with 3 adapters. It'd be the most Sega hookup of all time. Your childhood was Genesis and Sonic games? Oh, hell yeah. I loved the Genesis Sonic game. My brother and I both... So my brother and I, our house was really lucky because my brother ended up going the Sega route, so we had a Genesis, and I ended up going the Nintendo route, so we also had a SNES. Most houses, it was pick one.
Yeah.
And that was back when we used to, it was also back when we used to, rent games. Like, we rarely actually bought games. That was like a Christmas thing. Oh, I actually know a place where I could go get Sonic Spinball. 3D Blast is harder to find, though. And I will defend Sonic Spinball. I love Sonic Spinball. I don't care what people say. Although I'll tell you this, I've never actually beaten Sonic Spinball all the way through without a save state. That last level just kicks the shit out of me. For all these years. It also gets knocked for its soundtrack because a couple of the tracks are like broken, but it's also got some really good music. The Genesis sound chip was a weird one because, like, if you knew what you were doing, you could get some cool stuff out of it. Otherwise, it just sounded like audio broken glass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, some of the soundtracks were amazing. Phantasy Star comes to mind.
Oh, there it is.
I think the part of the problem was that the chip was really, really good if you could, like, programmatically work with it, but a lot of people just used the sampling feature, and the sampling feature was not as robust. Yes! Fire the beatdown cannon.
Yeah, I forgot that I have that.
So Dan, what's your favorite Mega Drive soundtrack? Also, I'm curious, Tourmaline, did they call it the Mega Drive or the Genesis in Australia?
Here it was the Mega Drive.
Okay, because I figured that was just a US thing, but I wasn't actually sure. Because apparently Sega's marketing for the West was handled entirely differently. They wanted to compete with Nintendo, so they ended up hiring a marketing guy who suggested a lot of really radical stuff that did really well. But initially, Sega was very wary of their approach. Like, Sega was really upset when he suggested bundling Sonic 1 with the Genesis.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you're giving away our best game or whatever. And he's like, I promise this is going to work. And finally, apparently, they stormed out of the meeting saying, do what it takes to beat Nintendo. But, like, they were not at all thrilled by this until it proved its way. Like, Sega, even though things went wrong for them, they did an admirable job when Nintendo was more or less uncontested.
Yeah.
Ooh. In the spirit realm, the spectral world, the hand gets big. I had most of the Sega consoles, but I never actually had a Saturn. That's one I would want to check out if I ever got, like, old hardware. I had a Dreamcast. It was a kick-ass console. And the Dreamcast failing was not even its own fault. That one was
Yeah.
just timing and everything. Like literally the only thing that made the PS2 beat it was the DVD drive. And the fact that it had the tiniest bit cheaper price point. But the Dreamcast was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, definitely.
It actually had internet connectivity.
Yeah.
Back when, like, nobody was doing that on consoles.
Yeah, that's why it did reasonably well in Japan with stuff like Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah. Because they were kind of ahead of us on that game. I also liked Vector Man. Vector Man was pretty cool.
Yeah, who doesn't love Vector Man? Vector Man is a garbage man with style.
Ironically, Vector Man had a lot of raster art.
Is there a switch or something here? Open the top of that.
No, I'm not talking shit about Vector Man. I thought it was... Oh, wait. There's me.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking shit about Vector Man. Vector Man's a garbage man with style.
Vector Man, Vector Man. Vector Man hates Triangle Man. They have a fight. Triangle wins. Ooh. Thanks for that link, Dan. I'll have to check it out.
Okay, it says shoot projectiles at puzzle targets. I shot it up there.
Do you need the Reaver out while you do it?
Oh, okay, yeah.
There we go.
I didn't even
Aha.
see. I didn't even see the shape of the Reaver up there.
Oh, wow.
I like that, by the way, Dan. That's trippy, that Genesis track you linked. Here's my question that I'm still baffled by to this day. It wasn't a bad soundtrack, but how did, with the 32X, did they make Knuckles Chaotix manage to both look and sound worse than Sonic 3 and Knuckles? I mean, it's a good soundtrack in its own right, but it's just... I don't know what I thought we'd be getting more out of it at the time. I think I finally compiled the right version of CUDA for this thing I'm doing. I'm about to test something, so wish me luck. This will either be really cool or explode.
I think I just go back then.
When you shot the thing, didn't that start a light beam for the mirror?
Yes, it did.
I'm trying to remember where it's supposed to be pointed.
Okay, I'm about to try Python
Oh, I
app
see it.
dot py. No module named Gradio. How do I not have the Gradio module installed? I've installed the Gradio module 5. Oh, I'm using a virtual environment.
Oops.
I didn't notice that I can actually pull back these pillars.
You need to have mad respect for the pillars of Nosgoths. I admit that it must be very difficult because, like, there are parts where even on my screen, even though I can see it clear most of the time, it does still get really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can definitely sympathize with your predicament. Okay, now I need to install Gradio in my virtual environment, I guess. It's the thing about computers, they expect you to install the things they need to work. The nerve. Radio.
Here we go, finally.
Hey! Video killed the Gradio star.
I'll take you.
Pip. I hate pip, by the way. Install radio. Pip is Python's package manager, and it's the absolute worst one I've ever worked with in my entire career.
A package manager, you say?
Oh. Notices your dependency.
Okay.
I was commiserating with Azzy about Python and pip, and we ended up in like a nerd holy war because I had said I like PHP better than Python.
The disk is now in place. Now all I have to do is just turn this around.
I'm just a little annoyed that Python became the default language for the data sciences. I mean, it's flexible, it's useful, I get why it happened, but like, I don't know, it makes doing some things more clunky, I feel, than they need to be. Like, especially if you're on, like, you're not on Linux, then it gets really clunky, because then you have to deal with things like PyTorch, and the dependency management and the conflicts in that are atrocious. Raziel's footsteps are seared into my memory at this point.
Hello, servant of Mars.
Yep. Hi. Yeah, the little plop, 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 plop.
Venerate the Omnissiah, the servant of Mars has come. We're yes, we've been playing Zero's playing through the whole Soul Reaver games, and yeah, the Claude Steppies are definitely, they live on. I do like the sound design though. They do a good job with atmosphere. Yep, yeah, Zero's gonna be enjoying the remaster. Getting close too. Can't believe that's how time works.
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah, right now I'm at one of the first forge.
Oh, well then the Servant of Mars has definitely come to the right place.
Yeah, it is my. Yeah, I was gonna say it is my favorite story in all of gaming. I would consider one of the very best.
Well, even just
Yeah,
the
for me,
dialogue with
it's
that
either
exchange of the
top or
pillars.
at least top 3. Yeah, that scene
That was
is
so good.
huge.
Pip install spaces. Try that. Meanwhile, while Zero's doing fun stuff, I'm trying to compile this monstrosity in Python.
Oh, Alien Soldier, also known as Burb.
And the voice acting is also phenomenal. I could listen to Raziel talk about anything. Raziel could like read like technical manuals, and I'd be captivated.
Yeah. Oh
Roll.
right, his voice actor was Drew Pickles in Rugrats,
You're kidding.
and Chaz as well, the other dad.
Huh. Small world. I am compiling. I'm trying to compile this this CUDA toolkit, and the versioning is going to kill me. Huh. So now I want to draw a picture of Raziel being like, why are you eating chocolate soul pudding in the middle of the night? Because I've lost control of my afterlife.
Someone's done a whole thing of that with like a AI voice thing. Hang on, I'll link it because it's incredible.
That sounds funny. Metal Gear Solid is definitely also, I would agree with that. That's probably, when I think
one
of
of
good
the other
stories in
like
gaming,
top 3.
yeah, that's another one that immediately comes to mind. Part of me wants to say that I would say that like Final Fantasy VII, but then I realized that a story has to be like structured and make sense to be considered a story, but it was still a good experience.
Yeah, same here, 7. MGS is one of the best stories.
Especially 2 is my favorite. The ending is so chilling.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, my phone's ringing. Back.
Hey, Termaline, what were you trying to say there?
Say about what?
When you type something into stream chat, it censored it.
Oh, did that just get blocked? Oh, it was linked to the Raziel making chocolate pudding.
Oh yeah, links are. Oh yeah, I blocked all links because of the bot.
Yeah, fair
bots.
enough.
Because we have been inundated with a whole bunch of bots that say cheap viewers at this link. Oh right, up there again. Best viewers at trustmebro.com. I'm pretty sure somebody bought that.
Games. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure somebody bought that shit.
Yeah, the nonary game VNs are pretty good. I did have fun, but when I was playing 999, I was trying to do it without a walkthrough. There was one point where I got a forced bad end because of something that I'd noticed, but the character hadn't in a cutscene, and that just annoyed me so much I never actually got the good ending. Yeah, it was one of the bits right at the very beginning. I'll try not to spoil it, but something happens and you check someone's pulse, and yeah, if you know, there's something you can notice about that the character misses, and that leads to a bad end.
That's kind of dumb because that would be a thing that you would be doing immediately. Check someone's pulse to see if they're alive or not.
Yeah, it was something that on the surface, when you're just skimming through it, there's something that is easy to miss, but there was some information learned earlier that made how the scene played out suspicious.
Kit said,
And
my
yeah,
new landlord on the line. Arranging a
okay.
walkthrough so I can measure for furniture and stuff. Back in a bit, friends.
Yep, see you soon. But yeah, visual novel flowcharts are fun to look at sometimes. I think my favorite is Kagetsu Toya. It's the sequel to Tsukahime by the Fate guy.
I am pretty sure that when I play this, because I plan to play this day one if I get the opportunity to. It's... I just ended up going full circle. which you're going to be doing a lot in this game, and I only mean that figuratively.
Yeah, he does look like him.
Beat your whinings, parent of many appendages. Oh boy. If there's one thing I am happy about is that the Chuas don't make that noise when they die now. The sound.
I was also thinking about the in the very first game with Kain when the Soul Reaver sounded like the screaming goat.
Yeah.
When you swung it.
Yeah, they cut down on a lot of the annoying sounds.
Kain, hear I once more the cry of Ve Victus, and you will suffer beyond reckoning. Yeah, the original one, the voice was a little rough because I mean it was an old game. Like, I mean, give him credit for the time, but there were some quirks. I hear Ve Victus one more time. Pow to the moon, Kain. Pow. I still can't get over that in the first game, Kain just looks like the Vigo from Ghostbusters 2.
And now he looks so much better as an evolved vampire.
Yeah. It's like we ascended. We are now all wrinkly and have pointy limbs, and it's awesome.
And are able to be half naked whenever we want.
That is progress.
The repeated chants whenever you pick up in Blood Omen 1. Yeah, here's the thing though. You wanna know something funny? I think those are the exact same sound effects that you hear in Binding of Isaac. Whenever you pick up something.
Oh yeah, Binding of Isaac is getting the online co-op soon in a couple weeks.
Oh, cool.
And it crashed.
Oh, what crash?
Gen pipeline. A module that was compiled using NumPy 1.x cannot be run in NumPy 2.1.3. Some modules may need a rebuild instead. Oh man! If you're a user of the module, the easiest solution would be to downgrade to NumPy 2. Do you know how many? Do you know how many of these dependencies need NumPy? Like that specific version? This is why I hate pip. Evil. Evil. It is funny how many games get like reused sound
Yeah, stock sound
libraries.
packs.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like how in a lot of movies you'll hear the Doom door opening sound.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay, that's weird. So I need to still figure out the NumPy module, and yet it's still able to download the safe tensors files right now. Just fine, for some reason.
There we go.
I don't get this stuff, man. I hate Python. Ooh. Yo, you turned on the lava lamp.
It's the best kind of lava lamp.
Uh-oh. It's totally not ominous. I guess I should rephrase. I don't hate Python. I hate, like, its way of doing libraries and packages.
Here we go.
Suddenly felt the Reaver quickening of its own volition. Just as in William's chapel, the balance of power tangibly shifted. Voracious and willful, the Soul Reaver was now in control. And I, merely its helpless puppet.
Oh
The
dear.
Reaver plunged itself into that mysterious altar, and devouring the energy that emanated from within, drained this place of its power. Thus sated, the Reaver released me. And I realized as I recovered control that these ancient shrines were forges, each purpose-built to enhance the Reaver with elemental power.
Yeah, so you remember that. Yeah, now you see my health increase again.
Yeah.
So you remember that fire forge from before?
Yeah.
This is the darkness forge.
Okay. No sooner had I turned my back than the chick from the ring came out of the aperture.
Now I understood the purpose of the mysterious basins I had seen throughout my journey.
It's for me.
Elemental fonts,
These two have played it
each
before. This is the
attuned to a
first for me.
fundamental essence. When I forged the blade, every font in Nosgoth with the same elemental attunement was simultaneously quickened. The Reaver's enhancements were never permanent, but these fonts enabled me to re-imbue the blade by bathing it in the elemental energy distilled therein.
In other words, they didn't have the idea of swapping multiple elemental energies yet. That's not until Defiance. They didn't have the idea of menu switching yet.
Concentric circles, one eclipsing the other. I recognized this symbol from the door sealing that other ancient shrine, the one I had seen in the lake outside the Sarafan stronghold. Perhaps now, armed as I was with the elemental power of darkness, I could return and gain entry.
Darkness falls across the land. Midnight hour. Concentric circles, one within another. It reminded me of my time as a human when I had seen Humongolo Nologongus.